My name is Elaine Acord, and I am a chemical engineer and unit manager for Sasol's ethylene oxide and ethylene glycol facility at our Lake Charles Chemical Complex near Westlake, Louisiana. I want to begin by thanking EPA Region 6 for giving Sasol the opportunity to speak today, and a special thanks to our community members for dialing in this evening. I also want to thank the interpreters that are assisting with tonight's meeting. Sasol has been a proud member of the Southwest Louisiana community for more than 20 years, making products we all use every day. This community is home to our hundreds of employees, contractors, and local business partners, and our children and families. The subject before us today is an important one. As a local resident and mother of 2 young children, I understand wanting to make sure the air we breathe is safe. And as a chemical engineer with over a decade of experience in ethylene oxide production, I also understand the science behind our operations and the controls we have in place to ensure our operations are safe, protective of the environment, compliant with regulations, and sustainable over the long term. My objective is to provide an overview of Sasol's Lake Charles Chemical Complex and profile our ethylene oxide operations and our safety and environmental performance, a subject I am very familiar with. Sasol has demonstrated proactive, continuous improvement of our environmental and safety performance over the past 2 decades. We've made a lot of progress and continue to challenge ourselves to be better. I'll give specifics as to how. Sasol Lake Charles Chemical Complex is located near Westlake, Louisiana, and is one of the largest and highest paying employers in the area, supporting more than 2,000 employees and contractors annually, the majority of whom live in Calcasieu Parish. Those who live near us know our complex has been quite busy over the last several years building one of the largest new industrial construction projects in the state. This includes 7 brand new facilities with the latest technology and emission controls, including our ethylene oxide facility. In the process, we spent more than $4.3 billion with hundreds of Louisiana businesses to build and commission our new facilities, spent $40 million on new City of Westlake and Calcasieu Parish roads and utility infrastructure, and contributed over $7 million to local schools and community organizations. Sasol also paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes that fund education, emergency response services, and law enforcement in Calcasieu Parish. For our neighbors and community leaders, thank you once again for the support you've provided to Sasol and for your patience through this significant growth. The products we make in part are used in everyday cleaning and personal care products, such as disinfectants, soaps, detergents, shampoos, and cosmetics, many of which, including ethylene oxide, have been instrumental in fighting the recent pandemic and local hurricane recovery. My team and I take a great deal of pride in this. Now, I'd like to provide an overview of our 2 units where we either produce or handle ethylene oxide. Sasol and its predecessor have produced or handled ethylene oxide in Lake Charles for more than 60 years and has robust safety and management protocols with a history of high standards. In my unit, the ethylene oxide and ethylene glycol unit, our highly trained team combines ethylene, which is also produced on site, with oxygen to produce crude ethylene oxide. Some of the crude EO is purified and then used to produce ethoxylates, which are used in detergents, personal care products, and paints. And some of it is used to produce ethylene glycol, an ingredient found in clothing, carpets, upholstery, and engine coolant. EO is a critical ingredient in healthcare and cleaning products as indicated by EPA, the FDA, and countless medical groups. However, like all chemicals, it poses a risk if it isn't handled properly. Sasol and the agencies that regulate us have robust safety and management protocols to ensure safe production and handling of EO, protocols that have guided safe operation of EO facilities globally for many decades. Sasol complies with all state and federal regulations at a minimum, and in many cases, we operate well below our permitted emission allowances. This is due to our investment in the latest control technology and striving to minimize emissions every day. For more context, and to demonstrate the results of Sasol's commitment to continuous improvement, the total Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality permitted emission allowance for both of our units that emit ethylene oxide in Lake Charles is 16.856 tons per year. In 2020, our EO emissions were 2.352 tons. This translates to just 13% of our permitted EO emission allowance. For reference, the rise in emissions between 2018 and 2020 was due to Sasol bringing the ethylene oxide ethylene glycol unit online in May of 2019. One might ask, why do you have these higher level permitted allowances when you are only emitting a fraction of that amount? Fair question. The answer is when Sasol completes the permitting process, we conduct detailed calculations of many facility operating scenarios and account for several variables such as weather events, feedstock, and power supply reliability, and more. Our conservative permitting values reflect the highest potential emissions in various operating scenarios. Nevertheless, what I hope I have demonstrated here is that permitted emission allowances for us at Sasol is the minimum standard. And as evident in our actual permitted emissions, we work every day to improve and minimize those emissions as much as possible. And it doesn't stop there. We actively invest in research and product stewardship technologies to protect the health of our communities, going beyond regulations to continuously improve our safety, shipping, and handling practices. Further, Sasol conducts regular internal audits, as well as integrity and efficiency testing of our emissions control devices to ensure these calculations are accurate. One example, we use a vapor control device to destroy EO vapors at emission points. The latest third-party testing on the vapor control device indicates a 99.9% destruction rate efficiency. This means this emission control device destroys 99.9% of EO vapors before it reaches the atmosphere. In summary, Sasol is proud to be part of the Southwest Louisiana community for more than 20 years, a place our more than 2,000 employees, contractors, and business partners call home. We will continue to prioritize safety in everything we do every day for ourselves, our families, our community, and our company. With this culture embedded in our workforce and operations protocols, we've safely handled or produced ethylene oxide for more than 60 years at this site. Complying with our permits is a minimum standard in our book, and we strive to continuously improve. This is evidence in the actual emissions data I previously shared. As this discussion progresses, we will continue to work with the EPA and the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality to ensure the health and safety of our employees, the community, and the environment are protected. Thank you again to our neighbors, community leaders, and regulatory partners. We welcome any questions you have related to Sasol and our ethylene oxide operations and environmental performance. Please submit them to the Ask Sasol email address here. Thank you.